You know, if you're doing something for your people and you love it, you want it to be great and you want it to be better than the predecessors. You want to kind of keep that energy of the past, but you want to give the people something, you know, to look forward to. That's kind of the way I look at the Mardi Gras culture and the carnival, the suit building. All that is really for the people. You know, it's really for the people. And I learned that from my pops, and I try to continue that on with my tribe. You know, we represent for our community and for the city itself as a whole, you know.
Are you tired of the same old weekend routine? Looking for something new and exciting? Then get ready to rev your engines at Throttle and Swing, the ultimate entertainment destination at NOLA Motorsports Park. We're talking about an 80 configuration go-kart track that'll have you feeling like a pro racer. And that's just the beginning. There's also a brand new 18-hole mini golf course and a state-of-the-art arcade. When it's time to refuel, enjoy delicious craft pizza, a full kitchen, and a bar serving up unique cocktails and gourmet coffee. You can also kick back in the outdoor lawn area, complete with a playground, live music stage, a massive screen for watch parties, and free Wi-Fi. Perfect for work or play. Planning a party? Throttle and Swing has you covered for gatherings of any size. So what are you waiting for? Head over to NOLA Motorsports Park on the West Bank and experience the unmatched excitement of Throttle and Swing. Throttle and Swing at NOLA Motorsports Park. Get your adrenaline pumping.
Chocolate lovers rejoice. Scandalous Chocolates has arrived in New York with 4 sensational new varieties.
That's right. They aren't just chocolates. They're an experience. Premium edibles crafted with the finest ingredients, blending sweet and savory sophistication.
We're talking 20 milligrams premium chocolate lips, sleekly packaged, perfect for on-the-go indulgence. Nuts, fruits, caramel, it's an affair you can take anywhere.
At just $10, it's an affordable luxury. Fair trade, single origin, gluten-free, and vegan. Find Scandalous Chocolates at quality dispensaries like Travel Agency in Gotham.
Scandalous Chocolates. When you're in New York, awaken your senses and delight your palate.
The affair you could take anywhere. Scandalous. Are you looking for a unique New Orleans experience?
Check out New Orleans artist Frenchie at FrenchieLive.com.
Featuring original artworks, prints, and more. See it all at www.FrenchieLive.com.
Live event bookings are available. The gallery is open by appointment only.
And for private showings or parties, email info@FrenchieLive.com.
Experience the art. Experience the artist. Frenchie Gallery. www.FrenchieLive.com.
Hey, Jay, you hungry? Like really hungry?
Yeah, I'm in the mood for oysters. Hey, let's check out Trenas.
Oysters? I love oysters.
Trenas features a wide variety of local oysters. Char, grilled, baked, and on the half shell, even the famous oyster log.
Oyster log? I heard about that. You get 6 each of their signature baked oysters, plus 6 fried, all on a cypress slab?
42 oysters. We are going to love it. Trenas is located in the Hotel Intercontinental, 444 St. Charles Avenue, right on the parade route.
Sweet. When can we go?
7 days a week for lunch and dinner, plus a mimosa brunch on weekends, and happy hour daily from 3 to 6.
Happy hour? Nah, you're talking my language.
Great drinks, great wine list. An award-winning chef, Matthew Farmer, leads a team serving the best seafood in New Orleans. Trenas.
Trenas, got it. Let's go.
Walking, stepping down the street, y'all. Talking, never know who you're gonna meet. Dancing, the groove feels so good to me. Singing, wow, yes indeed, y'all. Soulful living is all we know how to do. In the greatest place on earth, I'm talking about New Orleans, the greatest place I know. My hometown, the greatest place
Just like that, we're back. Show 68. Wow, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, welcome back to the Only Good Vibes News Network, your source for all things positive in New Orleans, Louisiana, and beyond. So, today's show is made possible by our sponsors. We are really excited to have you guys back on season 4. Thank you for all your support and following us throughout the times. And we also have a bunch of new subscribers. So we always give a shout out to new subscribers. And we also, first we go with the folks who are listening outside the country. We got our friend Shorty, who listens in France religiously. Shorty is the guy who used to paint me for many, many years as a whistle monster. I've been doing it myself recently. I was doing it before Shorty and now after, but Shorty's the best at painting me. That every time he paints me, people are like, how do you get those lines so straight? I don't. He does. But and the other thing is Jack and Sherry, they're in Italy. Thank you guys so much for listening to us to Italy and France. And we also have Charlie, who listens to us from time to time on the internet in Costa Rica. Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it. All those people down there in Dominical, Pura Vida, brothers and sisters. And then we got our folks here in the U.S., Daniel Weiner, Shane Finkelstein. These are new subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing. It's free too, by the way. And if you guys are watching, please make sure that you like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification button so you'll know when we're having these great shows. Daniel Weiner just subscribed. Shane Finkelstein, Freddie Blanchard, Derek Does, A. Bates, Angela Beckinell, who's a good friend of ours, Paul Gregory, Gustavo, Bill Taylor. How about that? And Lauren and Nick B. Thank you guys so much for your time. Your time is the most important thing you have. Remember, you can do whatever you want to with it. And I appreciate you guys doing it, especially the beautiful, luxurious guests that we have that money cannot buy. So welcome to Only Good Vibes News Network today. We celebrate the culture, the people, and the stories that make this city so special. For today's show, we're going to be talking with none other than himself, the man himself, Chief Joseph Boudreaux Jr., who is not just a part of the culture, but someone who gets to live it every single day. Yeah. I want to say that very slow. Because not only is a man a part of the culture, we're all a part of the culture, but someone who is living and breathing and has been in it and is what the city is all about. And I'm just so stoked about that. In addition, following his dad's footsteps, Joe has always created his own lane with the Rumble. And let me tell you, welcome, Joe. And you also have my man who gave me a call a couple of times before, and I'm just so happy that you two guys got together on this project you're working on, man. And I just saw a little glimpse of it, and I've been a big fan of the Rumble, and so is Jeff Kravitz. Not too long ago, we had a friend of ours who graduated from Tulane and who lived here and who is still going to buy a house. He brought his daughter just 2 weeks ago to give her a tour of Tulane because he graduated there. And it's my friend Matthew Lazarus, and he hired you guys to be at Jimmy's to play his 50th birthday party.
Yeah.
And Jeff Kravitz, who is a big-time photographer in California, like literally when famous people pass away, this is weird, but it's true, Jeff has a picture of them when they're like way young and before they was even famous. He's like I think he's a vice president or maybe even the president, sorry, Jeff, of Getty Images, which is not a shabby thing to be. Yeah. And he was a big proponent of wanting to get you guys there real bad. He goes, dude, whoever you're getting, forget about them. Rumble is hot. You need to get them, right? And I talked to Ari. We talked about it. We made it happen. And thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, man, it's great
Welcome to Only Good Vibes News Network, gentlemen. This show is really special to me because I get to not only be friends, that we're already friends, but we get to come in here and shed light on all the positive things. If you get invited here, it's because we look at you guys as some people that are doing things that are positive, that light needs to be shined on, because of our subconscious thought process, we're always overwhelmed with negative stuff. We jump in here for an hour and then we just talk about positive things. And I think, why don't we just get all positive people doing positive things, helping it, and let's focus on the good things, all the stuff you guys got coming up, the projects you're working on, and then just ask you a few questions that me and my daughter, and plus we have a little suggestion box too sometimes. So some of the questions we go through, we don't vet them a lot, but we do keep it no negativity, no politics, and no religion. And then we rock, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, for those who don't really don't know you, Joe, the son of Big Chief Monk Boudreaux, could you tell us what it's like growing up with a father who's such a leader and a light in New Orleans culture?
Man, I tell everybody a lot that growing up with my dad being who he is and being in the position that I has always been in the culture as being his son, it's kind of like your father being Michael Jordan and you play basketball. It's
that's a beautiful analogy.
Yeah,
right
it's like
there,
one
dude.
of those things like you're going to always be compared to him, but you always have big shoes to fill, but you got the best teacher to teach you the way to go. Wow. So, it's just one of those things that I've always kind of grew up being his son, but also an admirer of how he still is able to touch people, not only with just his music, but my dad's personality is probably one of the most biggest things that anybody would ever tell you, about him. I meet people now when I'm traveling and they tell me they met my dad 20, 30 years ago, and they still tell me stories on how just a mere conversation sitting at a hotel swimming pool kind of changed them, I met a woman one time and she told me she got some information that she was diagnosed with cancer, and she was kind of down about it. And she sat down, and she was at a hotel in Vegas, believe it or not. She sat down, met my dad, and till this day, my dad talked her through it, and she got better. And until this day, she has a photograph of my dad in her house at a spot where she sees it every single day, So for somebody to tell me how, that's just a small example or one example of my dad just being that person,
Your dad is, to me, so my grandmother was born in 1914. She's a Native American, African-American woman, and she had a reason to dislike everybody in 1914.
Yeah.
Being Native American, African-Americans, a lot of things was different. But every time I would see your dad sing, bro, and my grandmother was a reverend. She married people. She did over 40-something at St. Joseph altars. I slept in the altar room once a lot of times in my life. People would come to our house and she would pray for them. But dude, every single time I would see your dad sing, like it would just go through me, and everybody probably feels this, but I would always look at him and it felt like he was a relative of my grandmother, like every single time. And I mean, me and him, we have a real good relationship. I gave him the ring with the multicolor, the Chief ring. I got it from, speaking of Vegas, dude, this is wild. I got it from Vegas and I had it on. I saw him once and I just got it. And I just was like, man, I don't deserve this ring. I was a younger kid, man. I was like, you deserve this mug. And it fit.
I know
right?
the ring is
and
off
it
the
fit.
road.
Yeah, and he
still
lost
wears
it and
that ring.
misplaced it for a long time. And then he just told me, he goes, I found it again.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, it's blessings, dude. It's such a blessing. I know that from what you said, but that lady, I know the feeling that she felt. You know what I'm saying? Because it's an energy, a feeling when you talk to your dad, man. It's an energy of calmness. And it's an energy, and and one of the things I love the most about humans, that you are the same way all the time.
Yeah.
Whether you're that person that's always going to be whatever, we all need to get better. We do. But what I'm saying is when you're consistent with the person that you are, when you see a person, the way you treat them, the way you all, and man, there is no bigger leader than your dad. It's always, and like I said, you're in your lane, and he's in the lane of just steady, consistent, calm, not too high, not too low. And that's just me. I know
Yeah.
being
Yeah,
you can think, my dad is your dad at the end of the day.
Everyone
right?
says that, like, I've never heard your dad. I've never heard him yell. I've never
like,
heard
I probably
him,
did.
Like, hey, I grew up with him.
Exactly.
And I was a kid, so of course I did things to make him, hey, sit your butt down. Of course I did those things, but overall, the person that you see is the person that my dad is. He's very calm. He doesn't let a lot of things rattle him. He's a fighter, man. If anybody knows my dad, he's a fighter. He's a tough guy. And when I mean a fighter, when I mean a fighter, like not physically fighting, but he's one of those. Yeah, he's one of those guys that's going to stand up for what he believes in, and he's never going to waver from that. That's one of his traits. He's not going to waver from something that he believes in.
That's a beautiful thing, man. And I mean, just for me to know how Monk and just have a relationship with him, I'm thinking about you as his son. I mean, and I have never heard an analogy put so well. You know what I mean? Like being like that, just being like Jordan's son, But again, you took it and full Monk style and the blood that's going through your veins style and said, hey, man, I got the best coach.
Yeah,
because some people can look at that and be like, man, I'm trying to bust through my thing and do it. But you're like, man, I got that's him. That's him. And so I'm going to bounce back with the question. So I have one question. I'm going to go one question for you now, Mark. You ready?
All right. Yeah.
It says, how do you even begin to capture something as layered as the Mardi Gras Indians and culture in New Orleans? On film. Now,
well,
I mean, we didn't talk about the project yet, but we can talk about it. But just there's a project that you guys are doing. You can speak on it if you want to, if it helps you answer this question. But feel free.
Well, I just feel real lucky to be with these guys. And you said, how do I go about?
How do you capture it?
Capturing all these layers. For me, it's letting the band do it themselves. I am not a fan, as a documentary filmmaker, of people who put themselves in their documentaries. To me, it's I want to know about the subject, not really you. But a lot of documentaries these days have that. It's not terrible, but to me, it's storytelling. Documentary films are storytelling. So I'm going to let these guys tell their story themselves, and I'll be there to capture it on the film. But that's my only job, is to let them.
That's a great
go ahead
answer,
and
because that's.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting you off, but it's a great answer, because I almost feel that same energy when I'm doing an interview, right? Like, even if something lines up with me, I often try to not go from my eyes to do it. It's about letting you guys talk and stay away and just kind of say, hey, man, what about this? And then fall back and listen and let you guys do it. Because I have stories. We all have stories in our life. But the point of what you're doing is Rumble's story. The point of what I'm doing is the guest story. So I believe that. Back to you, my brother Joe. For those who may not understand what Mardi Gras Indians are, can you shed a little light on some of the history and the culture of Mardi Gras Indians and suiting up?
Okay, well, for those who may not know, down here in New Orleans, we have an on-standing tradition of masking, black men masking, in regalia that's created in resemblance to native Indians of this part of the land. Sometimes that regalia can kind of, I want to explain this because I get this question a lot, and sometimes people don't understand the regalia part, and I'll get to the ending part of the conversation. But so the regalia that we wear, right, it's created based off of our vision of the past, right? Now, when you look at the natives of this land, it's not a lot of image of what these people would wear, right? So the images that our ancestors had to kind of build off of, unfortunately, was the image that was presented to them, like the Plains Indians, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why you see some of the headdresses looking the way that they do. But traditionally, they were created in every generation kind of just compounds on top of that, and they create their own image of it. But let me get back to the origin of why. So the origin of why and the Black Mexican culture exists is it was built out of protests. It was built out of a necessity for our people to keep their own culture, but the protest against the Mardi Gras culture that happens in New Orleans, because at one point, Black men and Black women could not even participate in the carnival that, Mardi Gras was. So we created our own, in our back streets for our communities, for our people. We created this carnival. The same way people of color all over the world have their own carnival, to represent their culture. And it's no different down here in New Orleans, We are people, a lot of people like to say like New Orleans is the northernmost region of the Caribbean, because because we have these same similarities when it comes down to our culture and our carnival. So that's the reason that it was created, and it kind of just evolved because of why, the passion, the people. If you're doing something for your people and you love it, you want it to be great and you want it to be better than the predecessors. You want to kind of keep that energy of the past, but you want to give the people something, to look forward to. That's kind of the way I look at the Mardi Gras culture and the carnival, the suit building. All that is really for the people. It's really for the people. And I learned that from my pops, and I try to continue that on with my tribe. We represent for our community and for the city itself as a whole,
You're doing a great job too, man. I told you before we got on the air, I'm a major fan of Young Eagles, and I'm a major fan of the band. I'm a major fan of the culture that you guys represent. It makes me, as a 59-year-old, sixth-generation New Orleanian, see you cats out there, man, on the band, up there on stage. Every single person is a fucking trained killer, bro, in your band. And I feel it. And it's just like your dad, bro. When you guys up there and you like doing these not like over aggressive things, just kind of flowing, and like just the energy is just so, it grabs you so much without even like trying. You know what I mean? It's in you. I mean, that's how I see it. Because I'm not even talking like big movements. I'm just talking about even just a little. It's just so on, and every person that I talk to feels the same way. Like, man, like a lot of people, your dad can bring tears to their eyes because they just like, man, because he's just so humble. That's the words that I just like think about some things about your dad. Is like humble, real, kind, and brilliant. That's the words that come to my heart when I think about your dad.
Kind of spot on, honestly.
I mean, he really is, man. And like quietly getting the job done all the time. And you don't ever need an accolade because he's just already like overflowed with them already. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, and it's an honor that you guys are putting this band together, because it's, in my opinion, it's so needed and it's way overdue and it's good.
The Rumble is a long time coming in my eyes, Even before it was the Rumble, I've always had a vision of taking the Mardi Gras Indian music that my dad helped pioneer to take it to a level that was more representative of myself, And
that's what I like. I love that. I think that Bo is kind of going down that road a little bit too. And that's like, the generations of people whose dads were Indians, going not so much traditional, going like their own. And that's what made a lot of things what they are. People going out of their box, people going outside of things. And that's building more people coming and getting awareness and getting like some people that be like, wow, man, like your suit on Mardi Gras Day, man. Damn. It was fire, bro. I mean, it's next level, bro.
Man,
I never seen a suit like that. I was telling Mark, I was like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just, I mean, you could talk on it a little bit if you want to. Feel free.
I mean, this suit this year, ironically enough, the suit was dedicated to some bit of my dad, actually, because the title of the suit this year was called Shotgun Joe. It's one of my dad's songs from his very first album. One of my favorite songs since I was a kid, probably because my name is in it. I'm not sure, but I've always resonated with the song Shotgun Joe. And ironically enough, my alter ego, if you might call it.
I have one.
Hey, yeah, you do. So I was told that, by my tribe and, people that's close to me, like when I put my suit on, I'm a different person. Like, I'm not the same person that I am. Like most people see me on a day-to-day, I don't talk a lot. I'm not really talkative. I'm not a loud person. But when I'm in my suit, it's a little different. So I was coined Shotgun Joe as my alter ego name, right, by my tribe. So this year, I kind of put all that together. Wow. So not only the Shotgun Joe analogy from my dad's song and the alter ego, but it was kind of like a triple entendre, if you will, because me not being in the Golden Eagles tribe anymore, me going to my own tribe, doesn't mean that I'm not a Golden Eagle. Like that will always and forever be, my big chief. That's gonna always be my home tribe. But when I had to leave home, so to speak, I used the shotgun house that I grew up in, that I left every Mardi Gras for every day of my life. I left from 2714 Valence Street. And the shotgun house that I grew up in, I put on the very front of the apron. And as we all know, in New Orleans, the shotgun houses are designed specifically with, temperature and everything in mind. So the shutters play a big part in keeping the shotgun house cool in New Orleans. So that's why the shutters on the very front of the suit is a big part of the suit to me, because one, it's never been done before, but two, that is a representation of where I come from, I always grew up, always left that house. So now that I'm away from home, I want to kind of take my home with me. So that's why this year I had 2714 Valence Street on me everywhere I went, because even though I'm going away from home, home is still always going to be in me. So that's what this year's suit was really representative of.
Wow, man. Mark, we getting church over here, bro. I hope you put, dude. I mean, I call this show organically grassroots.
Yeah.
And that could not be more organic and grassroots, and just the essence of what you are and what you're taking around you and making something brilliant out of it by taking all of those things and putting it together, man. The suit was just beautiful to me, first of all. But the fact now that I know the behind it, dude, whoa, holy. And it was beautiful. Very pretty suit, man. Very pretty.
A lot of people think that the suit is created, Mardi Gras is coming, so we just create a suit. These suits, on the level that I try to make my suits and everybody in my tribe, we kind of stick to, these suits are made in the summertime. These suits are made mentally while the last suit is being prepared. Like, I'm thinking about the next suit, trying to mentally get into a space, because I don't want to ever just create something to wear. I want to create something that has meaning to it. And so with that, I got to really get deep into what I'm trying to convey with the suit, And inspiration comes. Inspiration is going to come. I know over the years, I just realized that I can go through life and something's going to hit me, boom. And that's that, now the wheels are rolling, and now we're going to start the process.
Dude, so we're going to stick over here for a second, Mark. I have another one for you, but this question here goes right along with that. It says, was there a time that you realized the shift from that's what my family does to this is who I am? Like from tradition to purpose. Like okay, yeah. Like on some families, we do this on this day. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, whoa, wait a minute. This is gigantic.
Yes, it was a moment. It was a few moments, actually. But I think the most defining moment was just realizing that, in school, right? I remember being in school, social studies class. And I remember we are reading about like coastal lines and how New Orleans is is just deep, and it was always at risk of washing away, right? And I remember I was on the road with my dad and them at the time in middle school. Like, that's when I did a lot of traveling with my dad. And I listened to Big Chief Boudreaux, right? He got a song called Louisiana. We was just listening to it in the van. And in that song, he's talking about how they try to wash us away and try to wash us away. That's one of the biggest parts of the song. And I started thinking about, like, what happens if New Orleans ever was to just wash away, right? At some point, the ruins of New Orleans is going to be discovered. And in that discovery, what makes New Orleans, part of it is the Mardi Gras Indians. And I realized, like, I'm literally a part of something that will stand the test of time, something that's much bigger than just myself, you know? So with that realization, it kind of brings on the responsibility that you've been told your entire life. Because as a kid in the culture, you know, like to call them culture kids, you know, someone that grew up in the culture. As being a culture kid, you are told every year it's your responsibility to carry on, to carry the culture on. Don't let the culture die. So when you realize, like, hey, even if the New Orleans is washed away, what I put into the culture will keep the culture alive, you know? So that's when I kind of started realizing that it's much bigger than me, and it's much bigger than just my family. I realized how big a part my family played in it, though, based off of who my dad was. You know, I didn't realize that at one point, too, because I grew up around a lot of great chiefs. I grew up around a lot of great musicians, you know. So I didn't realize how important my dad was until I seen how these great musicians and these other great chiefs looked at him, you know. So I realized, whoa, you know, he's just dad to me, but, you know, he is a big deal when it comes down to the things that he's imparted on people. So, yeah, I definitely had that moment of clarity of, hey, man, this right here is really bigger than what you really know, you know.
Dude, when I was hearing you saying all that stuff, I was like, man, you know, I never thought about it like that. And, you know, that's 100% true. And back to your dad upbringing, man, I was a very, very humble analogy of saying that, you know, I am part of this culture and I have to carry this torch. And then when you were saying carrying the torch, I was not carrying the torch. In my mind, I was saying carry the torch, carry the culture. But it reminded me of when you said like Michael Jordan. So I was saying in my head, MB instead of MJ.
Yeah.
Monk Boudreaux rather than Michael Jordan, right?
I'm going to get my dad a jersey now.
No, but seriously, man, that's special right there. And I mean, I'm getting some hits, man, and you know, sometimes when I'm sitting here and I'm talking to folks and all kinds of walks of life of people I talk to, and some of the things just like right into the soul and the culture of who I am and what I love New Orleans about. Because I always look at New Orleans like your mom and the Saints like your dad, right? And so you're like, oh man. Sometimes like, yeah. And then sometimes like, we got company. Can you, like, not tonight. You know what I mean? And we lived through that. But whenever I hear stories like that, that's when we're like, yeah, that's my people right there. That's, you know, New Orleans, Louisiana, that's what's up. 504. You know what I mean? But that's a beautiful analogy, man. And you got it, man. I'm sitting here listening to you, man. And I'm listening. I feel like I'm talking to your dad, like a younger you, and I'm proud of you, man. I hope you can feel that energy.
Hey, thank you.
And Mark, we're gonna go back to you for a second. Is there something that surprised you personally while you were working on this film?
Surprises? It was just
not so much in a negative way, but just something that you were like, wow, something you just discovered that you really didn't think that, like what we just heard.
Yeah,
like, I mean, stuff.
I was surprised. One thing that's really unique about the Rumble is they're a brotherhood. They are equal partners. A lot of bands, you know, there's different dynamics within bands. You know, sometimes there's a leader who everybody's just sort of following the leader. This band has a leader, but has a bunch of leaders, and they're all very. They love each other. It's deep. It's real, and that comes through the music too. Absolutely,
I can feel that
love and that sense of brotherhood.
I can feel that, and I heard when it was doing the trailer, when you guys did the trailer, I always butcher Aurelian's name, so I always say A.
You got it right just now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, his dad was sitting in that seat where you are when we and him did the talk. We had his interview, but the fact that he said the exact same thing that you said in that trailer, that we love each other and we care about each other, and that's why it's not like y'all don't have band stuff, but because y'all love each other and y'all are there, and it's about the culture. And I feel like with you and him in the band, man, I feel like that is the entire New Orleans and the culture and shit is waiting for that and been waiting for that and waiting for that because it's holding it up, man. And I don't know if a lot of people know this. I often talk about this. My folks with some of these people, but Louisiana, New Orleans, Treme and Congo Square is the first place where free people of color can go to the opera, the symphony, and play in the opera and in the symphony in the United States of America, period. And that culture, it always used to bum me out because we'd be having like crime on black on crime and things like that when I was growing up. And at 30, I'm 50 now. At 30, I was bummed. And I was like, man, we are it. You know what I mean? Like this is the culture. This is where it is. This is where it all started. But then I was just like, what am I doing? Rather than saying, oh man, I feel bad about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and help every single person that I can. I'm just going to be a light because I got to, in a sense, carry the torch for New Orleans, for black people in New Orleans, for my daughter, for my, and just be a leader and bring us together. That's what my mission is. My mission is bringing everybody together because I feel like we're always so divided. And that's just through my own eyes. Again, I don't generalize. It's just through my eyes what I've seen. But now pulling it together and having young kids like you and then just being able to get deep into the culture and like this Mardi Gras Indians and a lot of people don't know that the Skull and Bones is the oldest Mardi Gras crew in New Orleans in Louisiana. It really is.
Right. Yeah.
It was nobody there but him, the guy who came in from Africa and who started it in the 1800s. Like that was no one there. That's it. And then the fact that you and your dad are part of the Indian culture from like the roots and leaders and that, dude, in one band, two of that energy is amazing. And then, all the rest of the guys, Yano, Ari's, I mean it when I say this, these guys in the most endearing terms ever. You guys are, and I say this about a lot of people, like, and they're really good musicians. They are trained killers. Like, they are going to come and they're going to blow you away.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Right. And then you guys have that, man, in every person. Jose, all you guys, bro. I mean, I've seen you guys playing for a long time, man.
Believe it or not, man, it's times where I'm on stage and I turn into a fan sometimes too. Yeah,
that's like a healthy thing. I think.
Sometimes, Jose always to the right of me. He takes a solo or something, and I forget that I'm on stage, and I'm in awe, like, damn.
It's beautiful.
Ari, everybody, like you say, everybody in the band.
T,
definitely.
He's on them killing them boom booms, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the whole squad is tight. And I love that, man. And I love, one of my trademarks is I give people their roses while they're here, right? Because whenever someone's passed away, we all boo-hooing and man, tell the people while they fucking alive that you love them, that I'm proud of you, bro, that you kick ass, that I believe in you. If you need me, we need that. You know what I mean? I don't have any, you ask anybody, I don't have any problem with telling people I love them. And somebody try to check me like, man, how you love people you don't know? I said the same way people hate people they don't know. And they're like, wow,
hey, man,
I never thought about that.
There.
And I'm just saying, no, just very simple. If you don't know somebody and it's okay for the person to say they don't like them and they don't know them, like I can say I love somebody because I love every human until they give me a reason not to. And that's my move, really. And so that's just how I think. So back to you, my man, Joe, because I'm trying to go back and forth because it's just I could just cannonball into this man's life and the stories of New Orleans and the dad and everything, but I want to keep it moving on both of you guys. So I'm sure there's a lot of things you can say about the lessons that you've learned and are still learning from your pops. Can you give us one thing or a couple things?
Oh, man. Definitely still learning a lot of lessons, Just watching my dad fight right now, going through what he's just experienced. That teaches me a lot about, just being calm in your situation, not letting the situation overcome you, and just taking control over everything that you can and leaving the things that you cannot control alone. Don't let that stress you. He's a very big advocate of not stressing. So I think probably one of the biggest lessons I learned from my dad is just not to stress over the things that life gonna throw. Life gonna throw blows regardless, whether you're stressing or whether you're not stressing. The blows are coming either way it go. So why add to the situation by stressing about it? Figure it out, walk through it, and become better on the other side once you get through it. And that can be applied with anything that you're going through. So that's probably one of the biggest things, but. Yeah. Man, my dad being 84, he drops jewels every time you talk to him, Yeah, but that one, that's one of the big ones, He's been telling me since I was a kid, stop worrying, stop. One thing he used to always tell me about, not to worry about, is money. Yeah. My dad would tell me all the time, when I was growing up, how you got the mindset of, I got to make some money, I got to do this, I got to do this. And he's like, don't worry about money. Money's going to come. Money's going to come. And I was like, that's easy for you to say. You have it.
Yeah, that's what I tell people,
I'm
too.
a 20-year-old kid. I'm trying to get this whole, you have it. Of course you're saying that.
Yeah.
And he would say something like that. And then, the craziest thing will happen. We're walking down the street and it's find $100 on the ground. See, money's going to come to you. It's how do you do that? My dad he's sometimes a Zen master with that type of stuff.
I think all the time, man. And when you're saying this, and we just talked about how you don't want to pull yourself into the conversation, man, but you're clearing something up for me in my mind. I feel that energy from your dad, man, because my grandmother would have that same energy, dude. The words coming out of your mouth about not the stress, but that is what your dad is, dude. He is and anybody knows, even my daughter is listening to this, she'll be like, are we related to them? Right? I'm serious, dude, because those are the things that I've been armed with. The same, dude, I'm a Saints fan, right? For 32 years. You don't think you got to be calm and stay in the middle and not up and down and look, dude, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You're not going to always be. But having that calmness, bro, and seeing it come out through you, I think that's the most beautiful thing that a person can give to their kids. And that's what I tell people. If you see kids that are good, it's the parents. If you see kids that are bad, it's the parents.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
It's just so to see all this and to see you on that stage and to know that, and it's making me have even a deeper, and that's what these shows are supposed to be, have a person have a deeper relationship with the person that we're interviewing and understand that beautiful, positive things are happening all the time. And then if they can take anything from this, don't stress. That's beautiful. And especially at a time when it's really difficult not to stress,
Yeah.
I read this thing. It was talking about life is not meant to be carried. Because we always oh man, I got the burdens of life. I'm carrying it. I'm trying to get through it. But life is supposed to pass through you. Exactly what your dad said. It's supposed to pass through you. It's supposed to go through you. And the analogy was like a wave. Let life's waves go through you and you walk through them, like you were saying. But notice you can't carry a wave. Mm-mm. And that's the same way with life. And man, certain things touch me. And that touched me. And when you were talking about how he was saying, don't stress, just walk through it, I thought of that immediately. I was like, yeah, because he don't carry life. Mm-mm. He goes walking through life. And that's really the key, man. When you can get that down, that's when that stress, you start looking younger. You start feeling younger. You don't have that all the time. You're more
Right.
You know what I mean?
Your disposition is really more positive.
It is, man. That is. So I'm going to go back to you for a second there, Mark. What do you want someone from outside of New Orleans to walk away from understanding? What are they understanding from after watching this film?
Well, I want them to have a sense of this band first and foremost, because I do believe in them so strong, and I believe that what they're doing is amazing. But I also I do want to talk about the culture in New Orleans. We do go into that. I have Sun Pi in the film talking about Skull and Bone. And I tried to go beyond the band. I got Bo Dallas in there and Big Chief Howard from the Creole Wild West. So I want other people to speak to what these guys are doing as well, to give it even more of a grounding in New Orleans culture. But yeah, I mean, I just feel really lucky to have connected with these guys because they brought me in as one of the brotherhood in a way. And, that's a unique position to be in as a filmmaker, is to be so close to these guys. And I just feel so lucky to be the guy that they chose to tell their story.
You are fortunate, because that's a lot of like big shoes again.
Right,
that's a lot of shoes to fill.
And I'm not from here. I've been here 5 years now. But
thank you for coming to New Orleans.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you for spotlighting this great soul over here, man. Because a very strong soul in the community, and to a lot of people look up to this man. And I mean, like he said, he's got a good teacher, and that's really what I see coming out in you as your dad a lot, man. And it's a beautiful thing. I love how you just went to Young Eagles, and I just love that. How you organically come to situations, and all like organic, like using the tools that you have, like a chef. Yeah. Right. Say we live in Louisiana, so you're gonna use okra. We're gonna use tomatoes. And we're gonna make stewed okra and like that's kind of what you cooking in life with the tools that your dad gave you. Like a Magnolite pot or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
My dad actually, believe it or not, he actually gave me the name for the tribe, Young Eagles, actually.
That's
so
awesome.
That actually comes from my dad.
That's a beautiful thing, though. I think it's a very appropriate name, by the way. I think it's exactly what I feel like through my eyes you're doing. You're keeping the old and bringing the new and making something special for someone to do. And I'm talking like it's almost. I'm saying this as a compliment. It's like almost like Jamaican music, not sounding like touching your soul.
Yes, feeling
like you could just do this and be jamming your ass off, right? You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah, that's the key there. If you got that,
that's all you need.
That's all we need.
You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing, and that's a good answer too, Mark. And so I'm going to ask you this: can you take us in the moment when it was like? What the moment's like when you first put on your suit?
The very first time, or are you saying just this year when I first put it on?
You could go both, because both of them would be good. But the first time, if you remember,
obviously, I don't even remember the first time I
think
put
it was
on
like
a suit.
Child, I
was one.
Wow, yeah,
my very first suit, I was 1 years old. Yeah,
wow,
1987.
Year-old rolling.
Yeah, but I remember. Just as a kid, I remember a couple of different moments when I put on my suit. As a kid, I used to feel nervous a lot when I was like really, I'm talking about 5, 6 years old. I was really nervous. Then I grew into excitement. Like I was ready to put it on. Like I couldn't wait for Mardi Gras coming, Through the teenage years, it was different. It was different stages, That's when you start to discover the world, through your teenage lens. You start to discover girls and things like that. So it was a little different in my teenage years. And then as like an early adult, I started to feel the pull of like people before me. I started to feel the pull of my ancestors. I started to feel the pull of my elders and stuff like that when I was in my early 20s, 2021, So now when I put on my suit, it's just this feeling of empowerment, this feeling of, I feel big. I feel and big in both ways, like big in stature, but also big in spirit. Like, you know, I feel, I don't feel a weight. Ironically enough, as heavy as the suit is, I don't feel the physical weight most of the time, but I don't feel that weight of responsibility of carrying the culture, because I feel like once I made it that morning, my burdens are lifted, you know? So I don't have that weight of, because prior to Mardi Gras, trust me, it's very pressure filled, you know? Because we can go all year trying to create the suit, and if you don't do everything the way you supposed to calculate it, you can miss it. You can come up short. And I've seen a grown man cry because you put that much dedication and time and energy into something, and it doesn't fulfill, because once that morning comes and you're not ready, you missed it. You missed it.
Yeah.
You can't get it back. Can't get it back on St. Joseph night. You can't get it back on Super Sunday. You can try to participate, but that glorious feeling that you feel, that spirit, you only gonna get it on Mardi Gras morning. So if you don't make it, that's one of those very, very heavy burdens to carry if you didn't make it. And I have had to carry that before. I remember, I'll tell you a quick story, right? Teenage years. I was marching in a marching band. I was just consumed because I just learned how to play an instrument. I was playing trumpet. I was so consumed in it. And I wanted to march every single parade. And my dad was telling me, hey, you got to get the suit together. Hey, you got to get on it. You got to get on it. You got to get on it. And me being over cocky, like, I got it. Because I watched him make everything look so easy for so long. It's like, I got it. I can do that. A couple days before Mardi Gras, now I'm actually starting to try to work on it, and I realized that the time that I needed is past. That's gone already, right? Okay, so now I got to kind of hurry up and do something. And it was a failure. It was a failure. I remember, I think I was maybe 14, 13 years old. It was a failure. And I did not feel that glory. I didn't feel anything that I was remotely used to feeling. I felt bad because I felt like I cheated, the process. I cheated what I was supposed to be doing. And all that year, I felt it. I felt it every time I put the suit on, with every gig that we did after Mardi Gras. I felt that energy. And I said to myself, I don't want to ever have this energy anymore. And that's the moment that I started to take my craft a little bit more serious.
Wow, 14. Yeah. And that, that's a lot right there, because you get a lot of stuff to unpack there, man, because that feeling of you understanding and knowing and being able to put that together at that young age, I always tell people life is either a lesson or a blessing, right? And that was a true lesson.
Definitely.
And you were like, this ain't happening to me again.
I hate it, man. I hated that feeling, man. I don't know how to really describe it to someone who's never worn a suit before, but just imagine like your grandmother, she's expecting you to do something and you just let her down.
Yeah.
You let her down,
nothing
man.
Worse.
Like not your friends, not your, right. You let your grandmother down. It's like, it's right here in the heart, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that feeling right there. I just never wanted that feeling again. And I mean, no one made me feel bad. No one ridiculed me. Even my dad never made me feel bad about it. He never said, I told you so. He allowed me to just feel it. And that feeling was the lesson that I needed right then and there, man. I was like, I never feeling like this again,
right.
Ever. Never.
That's awesome, man. Not awesome, but it's a great story for young kids to understand, especially up-and-coming kids. And
I had to go through it, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't have panned out where I'm at now, as far as the level, the skill set, because I wouldn't have dove deeper into trying to develop a skill set, because my dad prepared me with all of the basic tools, so I knew what to do, but I probably would have stopped there If I was able to just coast through and cheat like that,
Yes.
I probably would have
Yes.
continued doing that, and who knows what it would have been. You
And
know?
still to this day, you still have that feeling. I can see when you're talking about it, like you ain't letting that happen again. You
Not at all.
It's some things that just lock in, and you lock in on them.
Yeah.
And so, Mark, question for you: what about the people who are already immersed in the culture? What do you want them to take from this?
Well, I hope that I really want people that are within the culture to feel a connection to the project and to feel like it was done properly. You know, that I'm representing. It's a huge responsibility to represent these kinds of cultural things that are happening in New Orleans, you know, especially for someone who's outside of it. So I want them to, I would be really happy if they saw this as something that really represented the culture well, represented New Orleans well. And I hope they like the band too. I hope they get further into the band, because I think the Rumble is taking this cultural music to a new level.
Yeah.
They really are. And I want to include a piece in the film about the history of Mardi Gras Indian music, the sort of call and response that really influenced a lot of stuff coming up into the 50s, the 40s, 50s, 60s. People recorded songs that were Indian songs. The Dixie Cups, Danny Barker. There were tons of people who recorded like Indian Red and different chants and songs of the Mardi Gras Indians. And it wasn't until Bo and Monk doing Honda Wanda that actual masking Indians made music. I feel like the Rumble is taking that to a whole nother level, because it's all about the culture. Golden Crown, like, a lot of the Rumble songs are just so deeply,
Embedded.
immersed in that culture. So I love it. And I started as a big fan of the band. That's how I got connected with these guys. I was going to every show they played.
That's a beautiful. I mean, that's what happens with New Orleans in general. Like, people get a little taste, and then they just. It's like a relationship. I always tell people, like, you find this chick, you're like, man, she's cool as fuck. And like, I can't believe I think I'm feeling something, dude. And then I got to go back and see her again. And then they come back, and then like, I think we settling down. They move here, right? And then they're like, dude, I can't get enough. I can't believe it. The Bywater, the Uptown, the French Quarter. Dude, this is me. This is who I am. And then when you go away, you're like, damn, man, I miss her. I miss her, dude. I miss her. And and that's just how we have a love affair, and you get infected with the culture, with the zone, with the food, with the music, and that's a great answer. Yeah. So there's a documentary coming up, and it's about the Rumble. Mm-hmm. Would you guys like to tell us about how it came to fruition? Like, how did you think about, okay, one day did you just say, hey, let's do I love this band, let me do a documentary? Or how did you guys get to the point where say, hey, we're going to do this?
Well, actually, I've made other documentary films. I made one in San Francisco about the history of surfing in San Francisco.
Nice.
So I wanted to do a project when I got here, and I wanted it to be about music, because I play music too, and I just wanted to do something that was about the heart, And I wanted to do something on the meters originally, and I found that it was pretty difficult. The guys don't really get along the way they used to. So, and it was looking really, really difficult to try to do that project.
Other people probably tried too. Don't feel bad.
That's what he said. I know. When I met George Porter, he was like, well, good luck. He goes, there's been a lot of others that have tried. And,
Quintessential George right there.
So I just went, oh man, so I'm out in the back at a Rumble gig in the back patio, and Ari came back there, and I just struck up a conversation with him, and I said, yeah, man, I make documentary films. He goes, well, we want to do a documentary. I go, well, cool.
That's awesome.
And it started right there.
That's a beautiful way to
I mean,
start.
no shit. It started right there.
Yeah,
So
timing was perfect.
Yeah, it
Timing
was.
was definitely perfect because, like, in the moment, we were literally, like, you know, started, like, the incline of what we were trying to do. And we always have this phrase, every time we make a milestone, or it was like, this is that part of the movie, right? It's just something that we always say.
like that.
This is the part
like
of the
that.
movie, right? And while we were just going through this stuff, it was like, it would be kind of cool to actually, you know, document this stuff because we scatterbrained, man. The Rumble is like we
on a
have
mission.
so much stuff. Yeah, exactly. We like kind of like tunnel vision. Like we couldn't do it, but it's like someone could, you know. And it just so happened that, you know, Mark was kind of like looking for the same thing. So it's kind
And
of
that's what happens sometimes in life, man. You know, like there's these ideas that happen, and sometimes you get blessed with them, and sometimes you don't do anything, and then someone else do it, and you're like, damn, they stole my idea. Not that they stole your idea, that thing was ready to come out.
Yeah.
Right? Or sometimes it's incubated for 20 years, and then it's time to come out. But it was clearly time for both of you guys to come together in the universe, and it was time to come out. And I saw just little bits and pieces of it, and it's amazing. And just the quality of the film. And I was like, when they hit again, bro? Where's the next gig? I'm going, I need, because I always use this word for your dad, and I use it for you guys too. It's church. I use it for Michael Franti too. It's definitely church. So we are going right up on it, man. I'm going to get you guys out of here with a few questions here. What's something that you want people to know about and take away from this film? Just either one of you guys.
Oh, you can take it first, Mark.
Well, I just want them to get, familiarized with the Rumble. I think this band is incredible. I think they're just starting on a long journey of incredible accomplishments, and I can just feel it, you know, in my bones. So what I want people to take away from it is a good feeling about the Rumble and an understanding of the culture that they're standing on, the shoulders they're standing on, and how they got there.
All right, that's beautiful. I was going to say, I feel like there's just a band that was put in a lab, like when they said they made 50 Cent when Dre and Eminem went into and like made the perfect rapper. Like if they could do, this is a perfect band, man. They went in a
It's
lab.
kind of analogy that I can get behind.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's like you guys went in a lab and somebody's like, we need this, we need that. Oh, we got to sprinkle a little bit of this. Oh, we got to have this. And then no band can have, and voila.
And we
Rumble.
kind of looked around and realized that we had all the ingredients. But the main ingredient that I think makes the band what it is like we touched on earlier, it's just love, man. A lot of people ask, you know, 7 people, 7 personalities, how do you all not kill each other? Being trapped in, you know, on a tour bus or a van or whatever for hours and hours and months on end. Like, it's just love, man. We, just like any other brothers, you know, we have our differences. We have our differences in opinion. But when it comes down to how we're going to get to the next level, it's always respect and love with every one of us. And we kind of put the band first. You know, that's one thing. We always put the band first. There's no one bigger than the band. So, you know, with that love that we have for each other and the things we've been through in a short period of time, man, to say the band is so young, we've been through a lot of things together that kind of molded us to understand that the only way we're going to make this is together. You know, everybody in the band has accomplished careers outside of just the band. Everyone has been doing it for a long time, but we all can agree that together we're much more powerful. So that's something that we kind of keep. You know, I want everybody to see that in the film. I want to see our togetherness and our fight. You know, because this has not been an easy thing, even though it's far from over. But it hasn't been easy just because it's not supposed to work. You know, on paper, 7 people, 7 different walks of life, 7 different musical choices. You know, we have brass, we have Mardi Gras Indian, we have funk, we have classical, we have gospel. We have all these things combining in one band, you know. So
y'all cooking with those ingredients, man. And when you say 7 people, it reminds me of a band who it reminds me of Rebirth. But if you think about Rebirth, there was so many different people.
Yeah.
And you guys are the same guys. I mean, maybe in 25 years you may have some different people, but I'm just saying, like, that die-cast.
Hopefully it's the same guys.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. But it looks like, not that they didn't have that love, not that they didn't have that, what they had flowing, but I just feel like y'all have something that you've already traveled through before all of y'all got in that band.
Yeah, I think we all look at our predecessors very closely, right? And part of, the reason that we even started the band, I mean, obviously out of the love of the music, but we wanted to be able to do something that represented the music and the culture of New Orleans without the stigma that comes along with New Orleans musicians.
Yes.
Because a lot of times as New Orleans musicians, we get this stigma of we can't handle our business correctly. We can't operate outside of New Orleans in a professional manner. Like, it's so many different things, right? Mm-hmm. So as the Rumble, we went into this knowing that these are things that we have to fight against. And we were prepared. We've watched other bands from New Orleans and older bands and older acts get to a level, and then outsiders come and they kind of try to take over it, or they either infiltrate it in a way to where the actual culture bears and they're not in control anymore. So part of this band is we want to be in control of our own destiny. We don't want someone, taking away from us the way our predecessors had to fall victim to being taken advantage of. So
wow, that's an important thing too, because they say if you don't know your future, if you don't know your past, not gonna know your future.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's where it is. And now y'all are rooted deeply and solidly into the foundation and to some pretty solid roots. And I love that part.
Can I just interject a quick thing too?
Sure, absolutely.
The vibe in New Orleans, a lot of times, there's so many great musicians in this town. To actually have a band that stays together is a little bit rare because, I mean, there's so many great musicians. Everybody plays with everybody. Like the old saying that there's 4,000 musicians in this town, there's one band. It's like everybody plays with everybody. But the Rumble did make this conscious decision to, we're going to stick with this. We're going to stick together. We're going to keep this love going. And we're going to kind of do a different thing than what other musicians in New Orleans are doing, playing with everybody and everybody. So
that's awesome, man. That's okay. That's very, very good. I think that it takes that commitment. It takes that love. It takes that not understanding that it's not going to be easy. And that, again, calm, wave flow through. You know what I mean? And I think that those are the things, those tools we talk about when you guys are cooking, really are cooking. So before we wrap things up, I'd like to talk about something that's around the corner, the Jazz Fest. What does it mean for you to personally be performing, Joe?
Oh, man. So Jazz Fest, right? It means a lot to me. One, because that's literally like where I started off at, man. I remember being a kid, like on stage hugging on my dad's leg, like scared to death of all these people. And my dad being a part of the very first Jazz Fest. A lot of people don't know this, but when the Jazz Fest very first started, right, it couldn't even get people to come. So the Golden Eagles got together, did a parade through the French Quarters to get people to follow them to the very first Jazz Fest. So the culture has been a part of the Jazz Fest since the very beginning, A lot of people know Quint Davis is partially responsible for even bringing the Mardi Gras Indian music to the mainstream, along with my dad and Bo. So being there now and being on one of the main stages, right? That to me is a very big accomplishment. It's something I'm very proud of. I have not seen a lot of Mardi Gras Indian acts grace the main stages of Jazz Fest. So to me, it means that I'm doing something, something right,
Yeah.
But just being a part of something that has always been a fabric of the culture of New Orleans, I think it's a big deal. Hopefully, I'll always play Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
It's something that I look forward to.
I think it will be. I mean, and as far as Quint goes, Quint was one of the only white dudes really back in the days. I don't know how he got involved or was able to go around there when they never like even dude. And I know you know this. It wasn't like it was a long time ago where everybody's taking pictures and all. You get that camera smacked out of your hand, taken away. It was, but he was in through that.
Man, believe it or not, though, Quint Davis, full circle, right? After he did everything he did with my dad, the very first meeting I had when I got off the phone with the guys and I said, okay, we did what we did. We left our previous band. We left our Grammy nominations on the table. We said we're going to start the Rumble, right? Well, we were going to start a band. I didn't know it was going to be called the Rumble until later on in that conversation. We were like, what are we going to call it? I was like, how about the Rumble? We had already, the Rumble is a thing. So, but fast forward, once we decide we're going to do it, okay, how do we start, right? Because none of us had been in this position. We're all musicians at this point. We never had ran a business. A lot of people think it's just a band. It's a business. So first meeting I had was with Quint Davis. Very first meeting. Very hard to get in contact with. I called a bunch of people to no avail. And Classic, my dad, him and Quint are good friends. I'm like, hey, you think you can get in contact with Quint? My dad is like, nah, you got to do this one on your own.
Oof, that's good right there.
I'm like, okay. So I seen Quint at a second line, and I jammed him up. I'm like, hey,
perfect timing,
listen,
bro.
I need to sit down with you. And he gave me a meeting, sat down with him and all his people, and I just talked to him and let him know, look, this is what we are doing. This is what we got, and we need a date, man. We need a place to display this. And he was like, okay, the Jazz Fest stuff had already been booked up and everything. Of course, worst timing, right? But Quint pulled some strings and he made it happen for us to be able to display something. And with him and Dougie over at the Maple Leaf, man, they gave us a shot and they made it to where people could see what we had to offer, and it just went from there. So Quint, Dougie, I'm always
shout out to the Leaf and Dougie and those guys. I mean, he's going through a struggle too right now. One of the things I want to send out love to Dougie, and everybody showed up for him, man. It's just that's who we are, man, and that's what you get. Your band is New Orleans. Your band is the culture, and the band is young. Your band is bridging the gap from the traditional to new things and opening up minds and getting followers and getting people aware to not only like love music and enjoy it, but to understand the music, because that's a big difference. To just like go and like not understand the history and not understand what it's about, and then when you do that, you start to love it more and you start to cherish it more and take care of it more. And I appreciate you for taking care of the culture, man. I always get people out here on like a little somewhat speed round, but we'll go into that right now.
Okay.
Questions is second line or stage performance?
Which one I prefer?
Yeah, like, I mean, if you had to, like, you enjoy both of them probably equally, not to pick. It's like saying which kid you like the best. You know what I mean? But
stage
like
performance.
Stage performance.
Do I need to give a reason?
No.
Okay.
You don't. That's the beauty of like the speed round.
Cool. Go. Let's go.
All right. And one song that always hits. I think I know what you're doing.
Oh, damn, that's tough. What's this week? I'll give you this week because it changes. This week, second line for me is hitting to me.
Oh yeah.
And Take It Back. Wow.
Yeah, that's good. You can take two. You can take two. I mean,
let me get those two. Let me get those two.
I like you got to go 1, 3, or 5. So if you go one more, it can be. I'll give you one more. So we have 3.
Second line for me, Take It Back, and Burn It Down.
Wow.
Burn It Down.
Those are instructions, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got a positive saying or some advice you want to give to some kids that are out there wanting to have a band, wanting to be able to embrace the culture. Like, what would you say to a young a young Joe Boudreaux Jr.?
I would say share it a lot. Always be prepared for your next opportunity. The opportunity is definitely going to come, but if you're not prepared for it, it's going to be a missed opportunity. So share it, practice, and be determined, because you're not going to always be successful on your first shot. Most people are never successful on their first shot, so don't take it as a setback. Take it as a lesson of what you need to kind of fix for your next opportunity to win, so you can be prepared. So stay determined, stay practicing, and keep creating. That's the things that I can give.
I love that. That's information for me too, because one of the big things that I always tell myself is, if you stay ready, you don't have to be ready.
Yeah.
Right?
And one more piece, right?
Please.
When you're creating, understand you're creating it for your group of people. And what I mean by that is, if someone doesn't like your creation, then you probably wasn't creating it for that person anyway. So what their dislike for it was never meant to be liked. But the people that love it, that's who you created it for. So just don't pay attention to the people who don't like what you create. Just fulfill the niche that you've created with the people that you do. That
Amen.
Love it,
Amen. It's like me, people say, how do you stay positive, right? So I always tell people, if you buy a car and you never had that car before, and then you're just like, damn, these are everywhere. I didn't know they had this car. Damn, I'd never seen these cars until you had it, right? They've been there. You just started looking for them.
Yeah.
Same way with what you're saying. Like, you got to see those people who care and who like it, and that's what you're looking for. You're not searching for people who don't.
Right.
Because you'll start searching. If you go down that road, then that's where you'll start. That's what your subconscious will be. So
and it's a failure, because you're never going to be able to please everyone.
It's like being a politician. People are like, dude, you need to be in politics. You could speak. I was like, dude, 50% of the people are going to hate you, and 50% of the people are going to love you. That's not something that I want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the last question, can you let folks know when the documentary is coming out, or where they'll be able to find it and watch it, if we know that yet?
Well, I'm working hard on finishing it. My goal is to have it ready for the New Orleans Film Festival this fall.
Oh, cool.
So I'm working hard to
We had
finish
the
this thing
film
right
festival
now.
on here too.
Oh, really cool. Yeah. So that's the goal. And I'm getting all my marketing materials together and everything. I wanted to say one other thing about the Rumble, though. Listen to their lyrics. This is a band who writes amazing lyrics, and the music is so overwhelming and amazing in itself when you're listening to all these guys play, that sometimes maybe the lyrics take a little bit of a back seat. And I just want to I want to tell everybody, listen to those lyrics, because they really are deep.
Speaking of
powerful.
lyrics, one of the things that Jeff Kravitz told Laz is that you guys are one of the only bands out there now that's still writing their own stuff and still doing their own stuff. That's a rarity, unfortunately, but it's refreshing. And it really is. And anything that you guys want to tell folks out there that we didn't talk about, that you felt like, how do they reach you if they want to book you, or how do you want to, anything you guys want to say?
Well, yeah, everyone could reach us at therumble.official. That's our official page, or you can check out our website, rumbleband.com. But check us out live, man. I'll tell everyone, like, to hear the Rumble is one thing, but to experience the Rumble is a total different thing. I've got a few live shows coming up. As you mentioned, Jazz Fest will be there on first Friday.
Yep.
We have a P-Funk show coming up.
Nice.
Right before that at the Republic, man. I think everybody should come and check that out. That's going to be a vibe out this world, man. To be able, because that's another band that's someone that we look up to,
Yeah,
so,
he is special.
Yeah, so
he
to
is so special.
be able to do the P-Funk tribute at the Republic, that's going to be a really, really live show. You get a chance to see the Rumble in a unique, different way,
It is.
And we're gonna have
that's
some
definitely
fun.
unique. It's going to be. I'm ready for that
We are
one.
going to have some fun, man. So y'all come and check that out. That's going to be on the 23rd. Yeah. So y'all, Rumble.official, man, and we looking for it. So just keep on creating.
Awesome, man.
And keep on experiencing, what the world has to offer for us, man.
That's beautiful, man. That's a beautiful situation. And I always tell people, there's big 6 things that I mentioned when we leave. It's a foundation that you can build a great life off of. And I always like to say that. It's basically you have empathy, humility, and compassion for yourself first. Because a lot of people are like highly motivated people. We don't always think about where we came from and how we got here. We always thinking about kind of, we still got some work to do. I mean, I can't really pour Gatorade on myself, but that's bullshit. Pour Gatorade on yourself. Enjoy. You sacrificed a lot to get to where you are now, even though it's not where you want your end, because you have to do that for yourself. Because you can't give anybody else love and compassion like that unless you have it for yourself. So it's very important to do that. And the next 3 is always help people, because helping people is an inside job, right? If somebody had a tired flat or needed help and fell down outside, we go and help them. They feel good because we helped them. We feel good because they're like, man, we helped them. We like Superman, Mm-hmm. And to always help people, always be better, because I'm in competition with one person and I'm trying to beat this person's ass every day. It's the dude I was yesterday.
Yeah.
If I'm opening up 5 doors yesterday, I'm opening up 6 today. If I'm helping people through, I'm letting more people in. Always, always be better the next day, because you can start over. You're going to mess up. You're going to miss stuff, but we're not perfect. Not one person's perfect. So always give yourself empathy and humility and stuff, but you got to always just try to be better. And we're going to mess up. The last thing is the most important one. For me, anyway, it's leave the world better than you found it. How do you do that? You can do it with food, water, air. What I'm talking about is waking up today, not knowing someone, meeting them in a post office line and a grocery line and gas line, having a good conversation with them, walking away, doing that 3 or 4-fold, and saying, man, that was really a cool person. I never even really thought that. But then that is leaving the world better than you found it, because it doesn't cost anything. And you leaving the world better by being kind to other people and passing on kindness. And I always say the world is full of good people. If you don't see one, be one. And what we do over here at Only Good Vibes News Network, besides want you to share, like, and subscribe and hit the notification button, is go out and put positive vibes in people's lives. Who dat? Yeah, you're right. Thank you, guys. Beautiful. Good to see you guys, man. Thank you for your time, because your time is the most important thing that you have. Who dat?
Walking, stepping down the street, y'all, talking, never know who you're gonna meet.